Let's do a shootout video. It's been a while. Now you've seen these types of guitars before, so I'm not going to concentrate on these particular guitars as reviews of their own thing, but a bit more of a comparison. What do you get for a budget Fender or a budget Squire? One used to be the budget brand of the other, the sibling, the less expensive sibling, but has now become quite expensive in its own right. So this is the Fender CD60BK. Looks to be an all mahogany guitar, probably laminate. It does have some damage on there that's been taped, but ignore that for now. What looks to be a walnut fretboard and bridge. Fender headstock, all black. Pearloid rosette, but it is a sticker. It's not etched in any way. White purple binding that's painted on. So a cheap guitar, probably one of the bottom of the Fender range. Doesn't sound too bad. Actually, it doesn't sound bad at all. So not bad at all. Now let's check out the equivalent Squire. I think there's a slight difference in price on these. This is definitely cheaper still, but immediately not quite as good of a sound. That could be strings. So this is a Squire SA110, sorry, SA105. So they are fairly equivalent across their branding. Also a mahogany guitar. Unknown fretboard there because it is stained black, so it's probably of a lesser wood. A much more cheaper looking decal headstock, and of course the logo is Squire. The tuners are not as nice either. They're definitely cheaper. The frets are brass, so already we can see across the board cheaper components and a slightly less full sound, a bit more tinny. But other than that, not a whole lot. The box, the woods are pretty similar. It's just the final details are probably still a little bit better on the Fender. So you probably pick up one of these Squires for, I don't know, on the new market around 80, 90, 100 pounds. On the used market anywhere from 45 to 65 pounds, and then probably a little bit more, maybe 10 or 20 more for the Fender equivalent. Is it worth it? Is it worth the extra? To my ears, barely. It is barely better. I think it's better looking. I think the appointments, ignoring the damage, are better on this guitar. I like the sleeker rosette. Even though it's fake pearl, it still looks better than that horrible eight ringed paint job on the Squire. I like the fact that you can see the wood. It's like walnut or something similar. It feels slightly better. I like the smaller fret markers. I think the tuners are slightly better. Still not brilliant, still cheap, but slightly better. As far as the heft and weight and feel of the guitar, they're pretty similar because they are a very, very similar construction. I just think this one's finished out better with slightly better components. However, that's not to say that this isn't a perfectly fine beginner student model. You could get quite a long way on this. Both dreadnoughts. There's not a lot in it, to be honest. I think it's basically a slightly better sound, and then aesthetics are a little better. I think the These brass frets are kind of cheap. You see them on very, very cheap guitars. But this is a perfectly competent beginner, learn your chords on it type guitar, and as is that one. If there was a massive difference in price, I would say it's not worth it. I wouldn't say it's worth £50 more. I'd say it's worth £20 more. But they are budget guitars, and at this price range, you might do better with an even a different brand altogether. I've always thought that the lower end Fenders don't quite live up to their name. I think they could do better. I think other companies like Ibanez, Alvarez do a better job in that price range than Fender does. And also Fender has an obsession with these painted guitars a lot. I think with Fender, I think they start to excel when you get up into the Paramount range of guitars. So you're spending, you know, 300-400 more in it. So when it comes to the mid-range and up, I think they still hold their weight as far as their great heritage and name goes. But at this lower end, yeah, I think they're barely adequate. I don't think they're anything more than that. So in this shootout, I would still choose this one out of the two. Not with this damage, of course. If it was a straight choice between these two, I would pick the Squire because it's not got the same damage. But in terms of the models and the way they sound and the appointments, the parts on it, I think this does edge the Squire. But then it's probably, you know, a little bit more in terms of price. So there you go. There's an interesting comparison. These two just happened to come to me for a setup. They will go to charity and be sold. And they'll find a home, and somebody hopefully will learn to play guitar or play it at the beach or something. There you go. Fender versus Squire. It's close. It's getting closer, but Fender's still edging, at least on the acoustic front. All right, folks. See you next time.